Stand by. Oh, what's up, smarty people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. I'm surrounded by gold. Gold, I tell you. It's an extension of the Radio What. Oh, wait, this is my podcast, KeysDAN Show. I got ahead of myself on that one. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, I have some interesting facts. You know, those people at interestingfacts.com, they do some really great work, and I'm always trying to learn stuff. So they're slowly becoming one of my favorite websites. You know, I got Wikipedia and, you know, even the Google Doodle gives you some stuff. There's some fast facts here and there, but interestingfacts.com, check them out and find out some interesting facts. I can't read them all on this podcast for sure. Today, May 1st. May 1st used to be moving day for everyone in New York City. New York City. May Day, May Day, May Day. If you think the crowds at Manhattan's Rockefeller Center get crazy during the holidays, imagine the majority of the city's population packing the streets with beds and other personal belongings on a single day of the year. That's how it was for the better part of 2 centuries for New Yorkers. Thanks to a colonial era tradition that may have stemmed from the English celebration of May Day, May Day, May Day, or at least traditions brought over from European settlers. Of course, the mood among residents was typically more frenzied than celebratory by the time leases expired May 1st. An 1855 New York Times article described the scene as everybody in a hurry, smashing mirrors in this haste, and many a good piece of furniture badly bruised in consequence. The chaos stemmed in part from the fact that landlords had to notify tenants of rent increases on February 1st, which were set to take effect 3 months later. Everyone who didn't agree with the new prices had to be out by 9 a.m. on May 1st. It was a harrowing experience for all but the cartmen, who jacked up their fees for the day, prompting the city to finally regulate rates for movers in 1890. By the early 20th century, May 1st had given way to October 1st as New York's moving day, with the tumultuous proceedings settling into more of an exact science. However, the annual moving day custom in New York City soon went the way of the horse and buggy due to a few factors. World War II drew most of the able-bodied movers into service, and a post-war housing shortage, along with the subsequent establishment of rent-controlled laws and other housing regulations, reduced the number of the city's moves in general. These days, while moving in New York City is certainly still stressful, at least most of the city isn't doing it all at once. Man, that would have been crazy back in the 1800s on May 1st. Numbers don't lie. Little tidbits of information at the bottom of the interestingfacts.com website. Percentage of Americans per year who move homes, 9.8. A length in feet of the largest moving trucks available for renters, 26. I know I've driven one of those over the last couple of years, moving into a new house. Very challenging at some times. Average cost in dollars for a move of less than 100 miles, $1,400. Number of housing units in New York City as of 2017, 3,469,240. Bing! That's a lot of people with a lot of dwellings. My goodness. Hey, think twice. There's another little bits of tidbits of information at the bottom of this website. What a fountain of information, I'll tell you. While May 1st moving day for renters is now permanently ensconced in New York City's past, it remains alive and well in other areas. Quebec, which also previously had a date of May 1st for most legal agreements, swapped the date for July 1st for housing leases in the early 1970s, although it's now a matter of tradition rather than law. In Boston, where rental markets are driven by the high concentration of college students, the moving trucks come out in full force September 1st. And Chicago, another city influenced by Old English and Dutch celebrations, the 1st of May and October remain the most popular moving dates by hefty margins. Man, interesting facts. May 1st used to be the moving day for everyone in New York City. New York City? I've never been to New York City. I got to get up there. I spent a little bit of time north of the Mason-Dixon at the beginning of the year. I went to Detroit, of all places. I didn't expect to go to Detroit, but I went to Detroit. I need to get over to New York City and see the big buildings and all the peoples. Oh, my goodness. Detroit was definitely not New York City. It was there was a lot of closed up factories. I noticed a lot of urban blight. Whew. I don't know how I got up on that tangent. I guess talking about one big city to another big city. Detroit used to be huge, when the car companies were thriving. But sometimes a company does drive. Well, not just sometimes. A lot of times the companies drive American, prosperity. Or just prosperity in general. I guess that happens all over the world. Wherever the factories are, wherever the jobs are, that's where the prosperity is at times. So when factories close, I know there's one closing down the street that I was talking about recently. My goodness. Well, I digress. Let me close this one up. That's it for this edition of KeysDAN Show. If you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for me. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.